Some people are pretty scared of the robots coming for us and taking over our lives. And to that, I say, let them try. Let the robots come for us, and when they do, I will put them to work, and it will be my time to be lazy. Let the robots come. They'll do my work for me. I'll have time to watch all of the Netflix that I want to. Finally. So hello. Welcome to this week's Brighter broadcast, and this week we are talking all about automation. So if you're watching, say hello in the comments below and tell me what is one thing that you would love to start automating in your life or your business. Whether or not it's possible, pretend this is a world where Rosie from the Jetsons exists. I am Brittany from Work Brighter, and this is the Brighter broadcast, your 10-minute-ish tip to work brighter and live better this week. I love robots. Let's talk about why. So first things first, what do I mean when I say automation? There's a lot of different things that people mean when they say that, and that can mean anything from like basic scheduling and stuff that's not really automation, and we'll talk about that stuff in a sec, all the way through to like artificial intelligence. I personally define workflow automation, like in business, as anything that where you put in the work one time and then it happens consistently, repeatedly, forever and ever, whatever, consistent output. So one input, multiple outputs based on like a trigger. Next question that I tend to always get is what type of work and business stuff is automation best for? So for example, a lot of people think that automation takes like all the humanness and personal touch out of your business. And when automation is used right, that is not true. And I even have entire blog posts about how automation can even make your business seem more human and more personal, not less. And so I think for automation to really work without kind of damaging other areas of your business, it should be used on things that occur more than once. That's just basic like math. Like why would you spend 20 minutes to automate something that would only ever happen once and would only take 25 minutes to do manually? You're only saving 5 minutes. So that's just not a great way to spend your energy. And you know that I'm all about energy management if you are a friend of Work Brighter already. It's also really great for tasks that need to occur at certain times because that binds you to a specific schedule really strongly, and automating is a way to kind of free yourself of that specific schedule. So one example that I love is automating social media. You can, through social media automation, be sure to publish content at times when your audience, whatever time zone they're in, is actually online and on social media. And so that's just something that without scheduling an automation, we would just have to really live by someone else's schedule, that of our audience's social media time. And instead we can automate that specific schedule. Another really great criteria sort of for workflow automation is tasks that have low customization. So this is again a way to make sure that your automation is seeming more human and not less. If something requires a lot of customization, for example, an email with tons of like personal details or stories or context, trying to automate that would be kind of difficult, you know? However, sending an email that every time you send it looks mostly the same saves you a lot of time and effort and energy to just, if it's the same email, to just automate the sending of it instead of typing it out or even copying and pasting from canned responses every time. And then the last thing that I like to say is the really best criteria for workflow automation is things that are short but frequent tasks. And again, something like posting to social media for a business would be a great example of this. So for example, if you had to post everything manually, sure, it might only take 5 minutes every time you would need to go post on social media, but you would need to do that like 5 times a day. And so that adds up. And I really like calculating how much all those short but frequent tasks like taking in the long run. I've been wanting to actually build a calculator where you can type in like how much time you spend checking email or scheduling social media per day, and you can see how much time you would potentially save in a year. So actually let me know in the comments if you're interested in a tool like that. But like short but frequent tasks. So for example, checking social media only takes a few minutes, but we have to do it several times a day. Same thing with sending certain emails, and that really, really adds up. And so that's where automating really starts to save you time. If you automate something that you were previously spending 10 or so minutes a day on, that's already saving you an hour a week, and that is saving you 52 hours a year. When you think about if you start automating today, how much time that you'll have saved a year from now, whoops. Such fun stuff. And so those are the main criteria that I like to think of when thinking about what is good to automate and what is really the best place to focus your automation efforts so that you're both saving time and not damaging like your brand voice or brand personality or reputation or anything like that. So the next thing I want to talk about is why am I so big on automation, specifically for people like freelancers and remote workers and solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. So automation is awesome for anyone because you're putting in the work once for endless results. And when you're working on your own and you are the business, your business hours are demanding. Like I know that we like to say that when we work on the internet, our business can operate 24/7, but that doesn't mean we can. And so think about something like opting into someone's email list and getting, doing confirmation emails. Imagine if you had to manually send emails to your subscribers to confirm that they wanted to be on your email list. So that's a really simple automation, but like imagine trying to run your business while doing that manually. Like a lot of things just would not be possible for us without automation because of the amount of time it would take manually. It's also really great because it lets us perform tasks on someone else's schedule without compromising your own. This is something that I talk a lot about in Build Your Own VA, is basically being able to work on someone else's schedule because, like I said, you are not 24/7. I am not 24/7, even if our websites are live and people can technically make purchases at any hour. Customer service, communication, all types of business communication is a totally different story. And to use opt-ins emails as an example, or email, really any email marketing. So for example, if you have any kind of email sequence set up to go out to your subscribers, it usually goes out like at the same time every day. But imagine if you couldn't automate that and every single day you had to log in and make sure that you sent out the email to your subscribers in time. You would really be living by and really planning your whole business and life around your subscriber schedule and what time you should be emailing them. But instead, you can just automate it. So lovely, my friends. Why this is really great, especially for anyone who started their business to do more of what they love. Automation lets you spend more time on the work that you enjoy. So I remember when I first started automating my freelancing stuff, I had really gotten into freelance writing and content marketing because I loved it and I just wanted to do more of what I was doing at my day job. I wanted to do more content marketing. I didn't want to be a business owner or even a freelancer. I just wanted to do that stuff. And so one of the things that I was really shocked by when I started freelancing was how, even though I was doing freelance content marketing, how much time I had to spend not doing content marketing. And it was so frustrating to me. Like I didn't like doing client onboarding or nurturing or admin and following up on invoices. That's so awkward. I hate sending those emails. Reminder, you're supposed to pay me. Such an awkward email to have to type out. Gives me anxiety, or gave me anxiety every time because I now automate that. If you got into freelancing or solopreneurship or entrepreneurship because you wanted to do more of what you love, and then you were like, holy crap, this has a lot of admin involved and a lot of stuff that I hate involved. But it's stuff that you can't avoid. You can automate it, and it makes the business side of doing what you love a little less painful. Then on the business side of things, because we cannot ignore that side, it does make things more efficient and accurate. So things can actually be more accurate if you automate them. So for example, comment below if you have ever typed the words in an email like see attachment and then forgotten to actually attach the file. We've all done that. And so for example, I used to send out the guidelines to be a guest blogger for one of my clients, and I would need to attach the guest blogging guidelines. If I was doing that manually, I'm sure I would forget to actually attach the guidelines at some point. But instead, I had it automated with the link automatically in there every time so that I could never personally forget. So automation lets you keep the human voice, the human interaction, starting conversations, but it removes human error a lot of the time. And so that's really, really awesome as well, because it kind of just removes less typos, less accidents and stuff like that from your regular workflow. And so those are all of the questions specifically or generally about automation that I tend to get. Have a bright week, my friends.